All right, sir. Vaccinated travelers, again, from visa-free countries no longer required to undergo facility-based quarantine. How much of a dent is this going to make on your occupancy rate?
Well, strategically, the opening of our borders to fully vaccinated foreign travelers coming from visa-free countries is a welcome development because in the long term, this will result in stronger demand for our destinations and, of course, for our hotels. Of course, the abrupt shift to regular operations from quarantine operations will have an impact on those hotels that have been relying mainly on the quarantine business. But we see this as temporary, and what it means is that the hotels will have to restrategize and come up with a better mix of guests.
Okay. What's a particular time frame that you're looking at here in order for you to make that transition? Given that for the past 2 years, how much of your total revenue comes from quarantine guests?
I will only speak for the members of the Philippine Hotel Owners Association. In Metro Manila, we have about 120 hotels. 84 are operating for quarantine, but we expect some of them or many of them to shift to regular operations. The revenues coming from the quarantine market have obviously provided a lifeline to our hotels. But moving forward, it's now important for our members of FOA, to look at the source markets, the foreign travelers who will be coming to the Philippines. So this is something that, like I said, we'll have to re-strategize, something that will require an evaluation of where the markets or where the tourists will most likely come from in the coming months. But certainly we see the next 6 to 12 months as very challenging for our hotels as we make that shift from quarantine operations to regular operations.
Okay, like what you mentioned, you're waiting at least 6 to 12 months in order for you to transition to your regular operations pre-pandemic, but you're now, at least at this stage, you're calling for government to provide aid. What exactly do you propose here? Are you looking at a specific amount, and have you at least discussed this with the tourism department?
No, we're not looking at any particular amount right now. The priority at the moment is really taking a look at our operations. And like I said, we have to really identify where the markets will be coming from. We're closely monitoring the movements at the airport. We're happy to note that we're seeing some movements already coming from our long haul and short haul markets. Obviously, this is something that we would like to be sustained in the coming months. The good news also is that the list of visa-free countries where vaccination certificates are now mutually recognized has been expanded. So again, this will hopefully result in a steadier movement of inbound travelers to the country.
Sir Bong, this is Danny here jumping in. Can you give us an idea of how 2021 fared? Perhaps not, compared to pre-pandemic, but just compared to 2020. Was there some form of recovery here? And also, to what extent are you able to already have an outlook or forecast for 2022?
Let me give you the overall picture, the performance of the industry, the hotel industry, ever since the pandemic started. In terms of reduction in revenue, we estimate that revenue has gone about 90% since the start of the pandemic. And this is a huge drop, as you can imagine. We started to see signs of recovery in November when Metro Manila was de-escalated from alert level 3 to alert level 2. We hit a temporary bump, so to speak, towards the latter part of December, early part of January, when we were hit by Omicron. But we're confident that moving forward with the relaxation of travel protocols, we hope to see a stronger demand. As to the timeline for recovery, we think that it will take at least 2 years for the industry to go back to pre-pandemic or 2019 levels.
Okay. Sir, are you generally happy about the fact that the shift will be happening from quarantine hotels back to international travel? or will this actually, slow down the process of recovery? To what extent are we dependent on recovery from international travel, and to what extent are you optimistic that that will make up for the losses in the required quarantine?
Well, prior to the decision to lift quarantines, our hotels were operating at about 70 to 80%. No? We checked with our members over the last few days and asked them for their onward bookings for February and March, and we were informed that they're in the range of about 40 to 50%. So obviously, there's a decrease in the occupancy, but the bigger challenge, is really how to get a bigger share of the international inbound traffic.